Great day, people. I got gum in my mouth. I need to not chew gum and do video. I'm learning though. Anywho, so I just wanted to jump on here because I was talking to some ladies earlier today, and the conversation just kind of came out the blue. I have felt like God has been telling me to start a YouTube channel. I started one years ago, but I took it down because I got scared because, honey, I didn't even know what I was talking about. It was just coming out of nowhere. But all these years later, I would say about 5 years later, I've gotten to a point where I realized what my calling is as far as, you know, what my gift is as far as talking, okay? Spirituality, those things. I can remember when I'm going to take it back to 2019 when I asked God, and it's in my book, okay, but I have to do edits on that book, and I'm feeling like I've been going back and forth with myself about it, like just recreating the whole thing, but I think I just need to go ahead and kind of just continue to share the story. So in 2019, I was I started a weight loss journey after my youngest girl turned. She was about 3 or 4, but I didn't understand why. At the time, I felt like it was just to lose weight, of course, because I wanted to lose weight. But it was so much more to that, and so much more that came with that I did not know that was going to come with that. Okay. Now all these years later, I realized that God was getting me prepared for the work that I was being called to do. And it got to a point a couple of years ago I started feeling like that, but I wasn't 100% sure because with spiritual work it's really, really heavy, okay? Because you got God telling you one thing and directing you one way, and then you got other people that's telling you what to do. And I can remember hearing back in 2020, because I spent a lot of time by myself, once God has called on you to do something, the universe, source, power, energy, whatever people may want to call it, you do have a lot of solitude moments. You do have periods of isolation where God will sit you by yourself. Like I've been by myself all day today because I've been praying and I've been meditating over the past few days, over the past few weeks, over the past few months, over the past few years, just ask God, what is it that you're calling me to do? And the more that I conversate with people and the things that I love to read into, study, those types of things, it's all coming to me. But I can remember asking God back in 2020 why relationships didn't work out. 2019, I was exercising. I was walking across the church parking lot, and I'm not going to ever forget. I remember asking God why relationships did not work out like they are supposed to work out. And it is 6 years later, okay? I've been seeing it, but it's like it's just clear as day now than ever. And it is due to patriarchy. I don't know if a lot of people study that. I don't know if a lot of people, I know everybody is like, that's what God said, the man is in charge and blah, 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 and the man is the head of the household. But I don't know if people have been paying attention to, since man has been in control and running the quote unquote running the households, and it's just been a lot of toxicity and it's just been a lot of abuse. And I feel like sometimes it's unintentional, but then sometimes it can be very intentional. But men have not gotten to a point of understanding that they're hurt, okay? And then on top of that, not every man is healed. Not every woman is healed. All of us has experienced some type of trauma that has affected us psychologically. I don't think that we know that. We don't bring that to the forefront. It's more of a subconscious thing. So most of us work from our subconscious mind. And what an awakening is, it awakens you to your conscious mind, which is basically what they talking about right here, right? It's like things are coming up from the back of your mind to the front of your mind. So like when you start acting a certain way, some people don't recognize or realize them or wake up to themselves like, you acted like a child. They don't realize that. But when it comes to a conscious person, when God calls you and the universe or whatever you want to call it calls you to say, okay, I need you to look at you. You don't need to look at nobody else around you. Once you start looking at you, you start recognizing everybody around you and the behaviors and those types of things. And I'm like, I see why relationships don't work out like they were supposed to. One, we were told how they were supposed to operate. We are humans, okay? We are not robots, okay? But we have been programmed to believe that relationships are supposed to work a certain way. And just because we see a handful of relationships working that way, we think that that's the ideal relationship because that's what we were told. But I'm just here to tell you that it's those relationships that are working like that are meant to work like that. But everybody else's relationship ain't meant to work like that. So I feel like we try to mold each other into what we were told we are supposed to be, which is control. I don't think that we realize that it's control. And so now we battling each other, going back and forth, just biting each other head off, not seeing that we are operating from a place of that's not true. That ain't how relationships actually supposed to work. It's ebb and flow. It's energy. It's whatever that spiritual relationship connection is between that person, those two people, or those people supposed to be. That's how their relationship is supposed to flow because that's how God. That's God. That's how God wants it to be, not just how it's structured in the Bible. Everybody's relationship has to be structured just like it says in the Bible. Or you're sinning. That's not true. So we have been programmed to believe a lot of things, and that's what God brought to me. Like, I didn't say any of that. All of that was man-made to create control, to control, to divide. And as long as there's control and there's division, then you're controlled and you're divided. Instead of using common sense and say, okay, I didn't live back umpteen amount of years ago, so how do I know that that's what God said? Because the book told me so, and my family told me so, but could my family have been sold that? Like, it's starting to become it's really bad trauma. It's just bad the way that we bite each other's heads off because you supposed to act like that when they feel this and this and my thing of it is when I try to talk to men about it, I do talk to women about it. However, the men, I'm still using that whole nature, order of nature. But the thing about it is when you think about the order of nature, then I feel like we've been lied to about that too, because one of the things that I realized was that they say the man came first. Well, per biology, every human has to have the organelle mitochondria in order to live. If you don't have mitochondria, you're unalive, okay? So in order for you to be alive, that's one of the things that you have to have. And if you don't have it, like I said, unalive, right? But if you and that comes from, it comes from the woman. So if it comes from the woman, how did the man come first and have life before the woman? You have to have mitochondria to live. So that means that what we've been sold is that the man came first is a story, because a man can't live without mitochondria because that comes from a woman. So that means that somewhere in nature somebody lied. So we got to take it back to learning the truth. I feel like once we learn the truth, that's when we can start learning to really coexist. But as long as we keep believing these fairy tales, these lies of how the relationship is supposed to go, it's a lie. That's the reason why it ain't working. That's the reason why so much of it is not working, and it's not going to ever work. It's not going to work. We got to wake up to how it's supposed to work, but we have to allow God to lead that. We have to allow spirit to lead that, not man. So that was the answer that God gave me. But it's going to be more to come as far as what has been revealed to me spiritually, as far as why men and women, we butt heads the way that we do, how we can kind of work on that to coexist. Like, we got to work on ourselves, and then we got to work with each other. So I'll be starting a YouTube channel, but more to come soon. I got to jump off of here. Peace.